So good morning, everyone. Hi again. It's Wednesday morning and it's time for your latest installment of Expedition Cruising from CLIA and Travel Weekly. So we've already heard from a couple of great people so far. And today we have got a captain, no less. So Andy, tell us all about it.
Yeah, I felt really privileged talking to, it's Captain James Griffiths from Scenic, and he's on board Scenic Eclipse. So he's literally, I was speaking to the captain and he was on board. The only other people on board are kind of a skeleton crew, but it was really exciting to talk to a captain who has got so much experience in this sector. The only challenge with talking to a captain on a ship that's not close by, in fact it's in the Mediterranean, is that sometimes the picture quality and the sound quality dip in and out. So bear with us, but he is fascinating. Let's hear from him.
Did he show you around his helicopter or his submarine?
He didn't. He did talk about it though. The helicopter sounds amazing. I've been lucky enough to go in a helicopter once in Alaska, but I've never. I mean, the helicopters they have on board this ship look amazing.
I know. And was Helen Mirren on board? That's what I want to know.
I didn't speak to her personally, but presumably she's in lockdown somewhere also, unfortunately. But let's see what Captain James Griffiths had to say. So delighted to be joined by Captain James Griffiths. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time to join us. I can tell that you're on board the ship. Whereabouts is the ship at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm on board the Scenic Eclipse. We're currently going into a period of warm layup in Rijeka in Croatia, not far from where the ship was built, actually. So it's quite fun to be back in Croatia. It's a beautiful country, although a little unexpected, I have to say, but it is good to be back.
Sure, it is a beautiful country. How does one end up being the captain of such a beautiful ship?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I actually started my career back in Cunard Line in 2000. So I worked for Cunard for 11 years on board QE2 and Queen Mary 2 and all of these things. So I ended up as chief officer in Cunard. And after that, I had the opportunity to actually get into the expedition business with Lindblad Expeditions, just due to a sort of fortuitous encounter with a friend. So I ended up going to work for Lindblad on the National Geographic Explorer, and that's how I got to know Antarctica and the Arctic, and I sort of really fell in love with the polar regions, and I spent several years with them, and I ended up as captain in Lindblad on the Orion and the Explorer. And after that, I was down in Antarctica one particularly miserable day, and Windstar got in touch and asked if I wanted to be captain of a sailing ship in Tahiti, which seemed particularly attractive at the time. So I went to Windstar for a few years and ended up as expedition captain there. And I set up all of their Alaska stuff for Windstar, and I was captain of the Star Legend for several years. And after that, the Scenic Eclipse was launched into the market, and all of the amazing YouTube videos, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen, came out, and it seemed obvious that I had to be captain of that ship. So I got in touch with Scenic, and we had a dialogue. And I think my experience in the luxury side with Cunard and Seabourn, coupled with the expedition and then the management in Windstar, just sort of made me a really good fit for the company. And I've been here nearly 2 years now, actually.
Oh wow, that 2 years has gone quickly, and it's obviously quite a bit of difference.
It really has.
Quite a big difference from a Cunard ship to the ship that you're currently on.
Yeah, it is. But this ship is very high tech as well. I mean, we've got the ASI pods, which of course all of the Cunard ships now have, and we do have that luxury side. But of course, I mean, it is hugely different being on these boutique-sized ships. I mean, although Scenic Eclipse isn't that small, of course. I mean, she's 170 meters, 17,000 tons. So I mean, of course, that's considered small by today's standards, but it is a reasonably big vessel, and we only carry 200 passengers as well, which is fairly incredible if you consider, these big guys are carrying thousands and thousands. So yeah, it is a very different product, and a far more personable, I think, really. From you get to know everybody. Let's put it that way.
And sailing a ship down to Antarctica is a very different experience to somewhere more port intensive like the Mediterranean, for example. So what's it like captaining a ship down in the polar regions?
Yeah, that's really true, and you can't, it's not the skills that you learn in the Caribbean or the Med, they're really not that relevant to Antarctica, which is why, if you want to be a captain in Antarctica, you have to have a whole new set of qualifications and experience before you can be a captain down there. The weather is extremely unpredictable, particularly in the Drake's Passage. You really have to be very careful there. And of course, all of the ice that goes with it, of course, going to Antarctica. And when you're down in Antarctica, you're on your own, really. I mean, all of the operators are a member of IATO, the Antarctic Tour Operators Association. So we do agree to obviously support each other, very much when we're down there. But, there is no external support. There's no Coast Guard or state that will really help you out as such. So, it is a really unique area to operate, but it is phenomenal. I mean, undoubtedly for me, Antarctica is the ultimate place to take a ship to, really. Just the weather, the scenery, the climate, the ice, it's just absolutely beautiful. And, we're very lucky on the Scenic Eclipse. It's the first of this new generation of purpose-built expedition ship, because historically the expedition market has been served by, much older, smaller tonnage. So to take a ship like this down there with the polar code classification, this incredibly strong hull, custom built for it with the helicopters and the submarines, it's taken it to a whole new level, really. We had an incredible season last year.
You've got quite a few things to keep guests entertained, but also importantly, of course, is to get guests to where the action is. So are the helicopters used in the polar regions?
Yeah, absolutely. We've used them. We use them more in the polar regions than anywhere else. Actually, we were flying guests wherever we could, and some of the footage that's come out and some of the experiences that guests have had down there in the aircraft, really incredible. We're lucky we operate two brand new Airbus helicopters. We've got brilliant, experienced pilots, and the ship has been really built around a really safe helicopter operation. So we can fly these things with confidence, and obviously there's a huge amount that goes into flying helicopters from a ship, as you can imagine, but it's really, it's incredible. I mean, the scenery and the things that people have seen, we've had people seeing bubble net feeding from humpback whales from a helicopter. It's just incredible, really.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Of course, you don't just visit the polar regions, you visit lots of other places as well. So give us a sense of some of those other destinations.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is the first ship ship that's really built to go everywhere, see everything. So we're just as comfortable as we are breaking ice in Antarctica as we are sailing into a super yacht marina in the Med, because the ship looks like a super yacht, of course. Right. And yeah, we do a lot of stuff in the poles, obviously, in Antarctica, South Georgia, Falklands, Chilean fjords as well in South America, which are beautiful, and up in the north as well. We were due to be doing Northwest Passage this year, Canadian Arctic, Alaska, and Norway. So we do have a focus on the cooler regions, I would say, which are beautiful, and I personally prefer that to the warmer stuff. But the ship is also very, very happy in the Caribbean, and we do some sail through the Caribbean, and we also spend a couple of months a year in the Mediterranean as well. And we can use our helicopters in the Med. We can use the submarine in the Caribbean as well, of course. And we also have a full water sports facility, so we can go swimming off the back. We've got trampolines and kayaks, paddle boards, sailing boats, all this stuff as well. So the ship, yeah, it's
well built.
Just as comfortable anyway.
Yeah. And just finally, what kind of reaction do you get from your guests, particularly those that go to the polar regions, I guess, but actually you've mentioned some incredible places on Earth. What kind of reaction are you getting?
The feedback's been very, very positive. I mean, we're fortunate in Scenic that we have a lot of guests that have sailed with us on the river ships and are super excited to take a step with us into the ocean cruising side of it as well. We source out heavily and Europe and the US, although not as much as some other operators. And the reactions have been great. I mean, everyone is terrified in Antarctica of doing the Drake Passage, but I mean, this ship, it's so stable. We've got these huge oversized stabilizing fins. So, a lot of people that were concerned about doing that Drake's Passage in Antarctica, have come to us to do it on a very stable platform. And when they get down there, I mean, I've not met anyone, literally, I've not met anyone that has gone to Antarctica and has not been, totally blown away by it. You can talk about the Arctic, which again is incredible in its own way. But, for me, there's nobody, I think, if you go to Antarctica and you see the beauty, the wilderness, how pristine it is, and the interaction with the wildlife down there, you just can't beat that, really. And I've never met anyone that hasn't been suitably impressed, I would say.
Yes, I very much look, when we're able to travel again and when it's safe to do so, of course, I very much look forward to it. I've never been down to Antarctica, so I very much...
Oh, good. Well, hopefully I've convinced you now to join us one day.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you do, and send our best wishes to your crew, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Captain James Griffiths there from Scenic. What an amazing opportunity, and I hope you noticed, young lady, that I got to speak to a captain this week.
I know, but that's because you planned who got to speak to who. You clearly hogged the captain for yourself, Mr. Harmer. I wonder why. You like a man in uniform. Anyhow,
well, indeed.
Anyhow, I don't care, because I spoke to some great people who are coming up tomorrow, some people who have real experience of the destinations as well, and can give us a real flavour of what a day in the life on board an expedition cruise ship is like. So please tune in, and we look forward to seeing you at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.